Good morning, everyone. This is number 73, 953 West. Corky Siegel, live stream, Life's Dream. It is a rainy, sleety, cold November 24th morning. And let's go inside where it's nice and warm. I have the coffee on. It's cozy and warm. Corky's ready.
From Decatur, you're an easy mama with the blues. Trader from Decatur, you're an easy mama with the blues. Every operator got you crying with his lonesome news. His lonesome news. You're so full of loving, babe. You could ship it out across the sea. Ship it out across the sea. Ship it out across the sea. You're so full of loving, babe. You could ship it out across the sea. Every operator, there just ain't nothing, baby. Not a single feeling left in there for me. You found a lonesome brown dog walking down along the outer drive. Oh, you found a lonesome brown dog walking down along the outer drive. Ah, you smothered him with kisses while your man don't have enough to keep alive. Trader from Decatur, you're an easy mama with the blues. Trader from Decatur, you're an easy mama with the blues. Oh yeah, every operator got you crying with his lonesome news. Yeah. That, by the way, was Patrick Garvey. We recorded his song in the 953 West album. And he gave me permission to use it any way I wanted.
It's lovely, Corky.
And we're doing it. So this is story time now.
Woohoo!
And we may do this a little differently. Let me turn off the recorder.
So while he does that, I'll wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. And hope you are cozy and warm where you are. It's a rainy, sleety morning here in Chicago. And we hope you have your nice warm cup of joe, a nice warm cup of coffee. And put your feet up for a wonderful little story time from Corky. It's titled 953 West, which should give you a hint what this is about. Think about where 953 West is located. It's a special story very dear to Corky's heart. So that's another hint. And here he is to tell you
Story time.
all about
Let's do it in here. Okay. So we're going to talk today. This is called 953 West. Unbelievable story I'm about to share with you. And I've told parts of this story many, many times. So you may hear some familiar sections. But here we go. So Richard Harding's Quiet Night on 953 West Belmont in Chicago. Who played there? Besides Siegel Schwal for 4.5 years, Siegel Schwal played there. And I continued to do solo shows. My first show was with opening for Muddy Waters for 5 nights. My first solo show, full solo show ever. But here's who played here. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, Steve Goodman, John Prine, Utah Phillips, Arlo Guthrie, Stan Getz, Stan Kenton, Bob Marley, Muddy Waters, Sun Ra, the Velvet Underground, John McLaughlin, Mahavishnu Orchestra. Who was with the Velvet Underground?
That was with Lou Reed, one of my favorites.
Lou Reed, okay. Mahavishnu Orchestra, Larry Coryell, who we got to tour with, Ricky Jay, Martin Mull, Rolling Stones, Sean Phillips, David Bromberg, Jimmy Buffett, Rita Coolidge, Neil Sedaka, Herbie Hancock, John Denver, Linda Ronstadt, Loudon Wainwright, Jimmy Buffett, Waylon Jennings, Dion, the Smashing Pumpkins. Dion called me one day, and we talked for an hour. That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Charlie Mingus, Hoyt Axton, Emmylou Harris, that's another story. Carly Simon, Chris Christopherson, the Talking Heads. Did I say John Denver? Robert Klein. I mean, just everyone played there. And Siegel Schwal being there on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. These people many times would come to see our show or come and sit in with us, but we'd get to hang out with them. It was quite amazing.
Even the Rolling Stones, they
showed up. Yeah, amazing. So there was a custodian there, a janitor. His name was Eddie Balchowski, Eddie B. Folk hero. Let's show camera 2, and we'll show a photo of Eddie. Okay, we did. Okay. Yeah, good. So we're trying something new here. Let's see if it works. Eddie lost his right arm just below the elbow. He was an artist and a pianist.
Well, he lost his arm as part of the Lincoln Brigade.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was part of the Lincoln Brigade, and he fought fascists in Italy. So that's how he lost his arm. He was a
hero in many ways.
Hero, yes.
A war hero, an art hero, a folk hero, a human being hero. He lost his right. Okay, so and he lost his arm right below the elbow. And he was an artist and a pianist, but he continued his music and art with his left arm. And people loved him so much. And of course, they came through the Quiet Night and got to meet him and hang with him. And many people wrote songs about him, including Loudon Wainwright wrote a song where a man lost his arm and found it in heaven, meted up with his arm in heaven. Utah Phillips wrote a song about him. Aliotta Haynes Jeremiah, Jimmy Buffett, and Dion all wrote songs about Eddie Balchowski. So that's how important, what a figure this guy was. So let me show you this. When we were starting to record for RCA, the first album cover that was recommended to us, that they wanted to do the artwork anyway, was like that.
That painting, by the way, for the cover is done by a very famous illustrator, Matt Dinnerstein, and it's quite an extraordinary piece of art. I wish that we had it, we owned it. We do not, but it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
And we said that's really a beautiful work of art, but that's a hearse.
It's a New Orleans funeral procession.
Yeah, what do we? This is our first and last record. I don't get this. And the other thing is they were going to make a double cover album, and I said, but this isn't saying anything, And remember, this was 1970. Yeah, 1970, or closer to 71. And I said, we should say something with this. We shouldn't just, this paper that we're using, cutting down trees, and, it's a waste, because what are we saying? So I recommended a work of art where on the front cover, Siegel Schwal was sitting by a curb with a drain and smoke in the background and all that kind of stuff. And then on the back cover, we're at the same place, but it's a woods, it's a forest before they had taken the forest down. So the front cover was this.
Again, by Matt Dinerstein.
Yeah, Dinerstein.
Gorgeous.
And in the back
painting.
cover, this was my proposal, and the back cover was going to be this, like before and after. Before, with the horse and the stream, and we're, Jim without a shirt, and here, angular and not very environmental.
Yeah.
And then they did some beautiful stuff in the center. But this was my recommendation.
Open it up again. I think it's some of my. Yeah, there's my. It's absolutely a gorgeous photo. I just wanted to show that famous photo.
This too.
Rollo and Jim and Corky, very sweet. Shelley.
Yeah. So
Jim.
I fought with them on this a little bit. They finally agreed to do it, and it won a Grammy Award. That's the only Grammy Award I was ever associated with. The cover of an album.
So
I had won their confidence at this point. So by the time it came time to doing the 953 West album, I had gained a little of their confidence, and I had said, I'd like to, let's call this 953 West. They agreed to that because it's where we played every Tuesday at the Quiet Night at 953 West Belmont. And so I wanted to use the drawing, and let's show the drawing on the wall. Yeah, I'll stay here. You show the drawing.
this is it's a gorgeous painting. Actually, it's a line drawing really, but you can't tell the scale, but this is really quite large. It's probably 3 feet by 2 feet.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the L stop.
So come back here where I could tell the rest of the story.
Okay.
So I sent them the drawing, and they sent back to me a layout, a horrible layout. They put the drawing in the little left-hand corner of the album cover. And I sent it back. I said, no. And then they sent me another layout. And every layout was horrible. What were they thinking?
Well,
it was like purposely. And finally, the
they're
art
thinking
director...
to undermine it.
Yeah, the art director says, I hate this drawing. I hate it. I could do better with one arm tied behind my back. Okay? He said that. So I ended up laying out the album. And let's go to camera 2, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? And so a few months later, there was a record release party at the Quiet Night. Now, Ken Gore, as my sound engineer, recently told you guys this story, but I'm going to go through it quickly. So it was a record release party, and I went up to, and all the executives in RCA were there, and I went up to the art director, who was also there. I says, you know what? Remember the guy that you said you could do better than this with one arm tied behind your back? Well, I have to tell you, what Eddie would do when he greeted people is he would take his stump and insert it into the person's sternum and go like this, hugging the person with his good left arm and going like that. He would meet everyone like that. That was his thing. That was Eddie's thing. I said to the art director, remember the guy that you said you could do better with one arm tied behind your back? I'd like you to meet him. And as Ken Gore said, I was always willing to wait months for a good punchline. So anyway, let's see where I am here. Yeah. So this album cover, for many reasons, became really iconic in my life. And people really love this album. I think it was The Wine by Jim Schwall is on the album. Some great stuff. People love the album.
Classic Siegel Schwall is on that
classic,
album.
and the album cover became iconic cover. So Dr. L. Subramaniam comes to Chicago in 1999, the great violinist, and asked me to perform with him at what was then called Orchestra Hall. And then I went on tour with him around the U.S. and a number of tours in India since 1999 with great artists like Hubert Laws and Larry Coryell and all these great international artists. It was about 10 years ago that we met Ernie.
It was actually, we met him on that first tour in 2000, so it's been 21 years.
No.
Yeah, I'm afraid so, darling.
Oh my God. Not possible. Okay, so...
That was the very first tour.
Yeah, and as I told the story before...
We've been there a dozen times since.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and show this little video clip. But when I met Ernie, I was on one side. This was in India. I think it was in Bangalore. I was on one side of the stage. He was all the way on the other side of the stage. I was completely intimidated. And during our chai break, I went over to him. I don't know why this came out of my mouth, but I was really nervous. I went over to him and I said, "Mr. Watts, would you like to join me for some chai?" And he said, "I would be delighted." And of course we bonded immediately. And I'm going to hopefully show you some photos and items of our being together in India. But this other fella joined us named Greg because he was writing with Dr. Subramaniam's daughter, Bindu, on the internet internationally. They were in some course from Berkeley School or something like that, but an internet songwriting course. And they really became really good friends. And he'd never been to India, so he wanted to come to India. And we met Greg and Ernie in India, and we had 5 days off. And Dr. Subramaniam said that we should go on a 5-day vacation. And he got a driver for us. And my wife, Holly, and Ernie, and Greg, the four of us went on this trip. We saw the Taj Mahal. We ate in restaurants. We had a great time for 5 days and really, really, really bonded.
Yes.
Hi there. This is Ernie Watts, and I'm here to cordially invite you to India. It's one of the wonderful places of the world, especially if you like to take pictures of animals. I've taken pictures of pigs, I've taken pictures of camels, I've taken pictures of water buffaloes, oxen, horses, all on the same block, with cars and motorbikes and trolleys and buses and great big trucks with 50 or 60 people in them. It's an amazing place here, and you have not lived until you come to India. Thank you. And
Of the sex offender.
So now we're back in Chicago. A number of months later, Dr. Subramaniam comes to Chicago and stays with us. And one day he says to me, "Corky, I need to meet Greg." And by the way, I don't know if I said Greg was the owner of the Chicago Bagel Authority, a little shop. And I said, well, and Dr. Subramaniam said, "I'd like you to drive me there." I says, "Well, what's the address?" And he holds up his phone, note, and right here in very big letters shows up 953 West Armitage. And I went, that's amazing. I was working on getting a CD release of 953 West, and I had it right here. And as soon as he showed me that on his phone, I went, look at this. 953 West. Oh my God. What a synchronicity. And then I said, look at the painting. And I told him the story. So then what happens is we go over, we're really excited, and I left the album in the car because I wanted to make it a surprise. And I show up, and for the first time I see the Chicago Bagel Authority on 953 West Armitage. And I'm really excited to show Greg the album. And I say, Greg, I got to show you something. He says, you know what, you're going to have to do it later. I'm in a big hurry because I just bought another shop. And I'm closing on it. I have to go close on it right now. It's at the same address, but a mile away on Belmont. The actual address turned out to be 955 West Belmont because it was right below where the Quiet Night was. At some point earlier on, a hair salon had taken residence in what was the Quiet Night. And
Which was the upstairs, the whole upstairs.
The whole upstairs, all the way to the corner. And Greg's shop burnt out. I'd say burnt down, but it was still standing, but a fire burnt everything out, and it burnt out the hair salon upstairs. So he met the owner, of course, of the hair salon, and they decided to reconstruct their businesses and help each other. They ended up falling in love, and they ended up getting married. They have, what, 2 children?
Two boys.
Two boys, yeah.
Two boys.
And so when Ernie comes to Chicago, and when Holly needs her hair done, we all get it done at the Quiet Night. And the Quiet Night, let's see what else I was going to say.
Well, actually, Greg found when they were restoring Dahlia and Greg were restoring the...
he asked me. He saw this little paint. He showed me. He said, let me show you this little painting. It was just a little square painting on the wall. He says, let me show you what's behind it and see if you could make sense of this. And this is before he really knew anything about Eddie Belchowski or anything. And on the wall was this ugly patch.
It was a fresco.
Yeah, a big cement patch where the bricks were.
Plaster, yeah.
And somebody took a finger and drew a rendering in...
It was a self-portrait.
The cement. And it was definitely an Eddie B. work, a self-portrait of Eddie B. Unbelievable. And they later built an altar to the Quiet Night. A shrine. My album cover was there.
Still is.
A poster.
Yep.
A poster from the Quiet Night. A picture of the Rolling Stones. And there's a photograph, I'm going to try and find it, of Ernie, me, and Holly, and I think Greg, I don't know, a bunch of us standing in front of the altar. We sort of blocked the shrine, but you can get the idea. And just unbelievable. So that is the story of 953 West.
I just want to add one thing.
Please.
So Eddie said, Corky, I can't believe you don't have any posters from the Fillmore. And Eddie was living in San Francisco at the time, and I can't believe you don't have a single one. So when he came to Chicago, we wouldn't have these posters if it wasn't for Eddie. This is with Jeff Beck, Sly and the Family Stones,
and who was singing with Jeff Beck at the time?
That was Rod Stewart.
And in those days, he sang with his back to the audience.
He had Stage fright. And this is with Tracy Nelson, who you all have met. She has performed with Corky's Chamber Blues. She said, I don't care if I hear another guitar again. She loved it so much. This one is good too.
That's from Denver.
But that's with Canned Heat.
Canned Heat, yes.
And this is with Buddy Guy, Siegel Schwal, Buddy Guy, and that was at the Avalon. So Eddie brought these, and we wouldn't have them had he not brought these posters. So thank you.
So we're going to try something a little different. Because this is Thanksgiving,
Yes.
instead of me doing this, I don't have a Thanksgiving song. But I just did this amazing concert with Randy Sabine. It's a 75-minute concert.
Oh my God, you guys, you must
Yeah, for
see
those
it.
who haven't seen it, please.
Absolutely
Please, and
marvelous.
please
It's
pay the-
hilarious. It's virtuosic. It's
Silly.
phenomenal.
It's silly.
And it helps support these little small theaters that are having trouble across the country due to the pandemic. It helps support them. So,
Yeah, so
I
pay the ticket
encourage
price.
you to please go, please watch it. You won't be sorry. It would be a wonderful Thanksgiving thing to do with the
And pay
family.
pay the ticket price. And we're going to give you one of the pieces that we did. Let's have Randy introduce it.
Randy will introduce.
Okay, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we're going to see you on the Zoom afterwards. Just go to corkymusic.com/stream. And all the links you need will be there. corkymusic.com/stream. Love you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving from our house to yours.
Okay, now let's do another one. Okay, guys, thanks. I hope you enjoyed that. Go to the Three Lakes Center for the Arts in order to see the whole show with Randy. Three Lakes Center for the Arts. And happy Thanksgiving. We love you. We'll see you on the
From
Zoom.
our house to yours.
From our house to yours. We'll see you on the Zoom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love
Keep
you.
safe.
Okay, let me get